Good evening, everyone, and welcome, everyone, to HC88 and USN's presentation tonight, joined by our core group for our discussion topic on proper gear and go bags. And in the event of a what-if emergency, were to cause you and your family to pack up the necessities and bug out. We are going to be starting off with first aid kits, which is going to be a first essential of a go bag. And you'll always want to do your be prepared, Boy Scout analogy. USN, sorry for the pause there. USN, I'm looking to see if you would start us off with the first essentials that you think are the priority in a first aid kit.
No, good evening, good evening, members, and good evening, guests. Thank you for having us. I would say, in my opinion, the essentials for any first aid kit are going to be bandages, medication, the ability to, really the ability to stop bleeding, the ability to clear airways, certain medications that your family might require. Those types of things I would say would be among the essentials to go in a first aid kit. Absolutely. And I would probably double check with Sarge or one of the guys with the experience on that. Sarge, do you have an opinion on
that? Hey, good evening, guys. Well, first you want to make sure, like you said, you have the proper medications for the appropriate people. You want to make sure that you can stop bleeding, you can apply a tourniquet, make a filled splint. Most little first aid kits you have a few band-aids and some gauze, but that doesn't really get you very far. So you want to make sure you have enough to facilitate bigger injuries if it's a go bag. If you would look at like military first aid books, field kits, get an idea of what kind of stuff is available. Also, what would be smart is even taking a first aid course at a local facility, community college or something.
Yeah, family CPR classes would be a great thing. Get everybody certified, that way everybody knows in case of emergency what to do. You can go through your local Boy Scout organization. You can even go to your local community centers. I've seen them for as cheap as $25 to $40.
Because the reality is, if you need first aid and you need to apply for first aid yourself, you probably need to know how to do it. Now, it's always good to have bandages. It's always good to have slings. But really, just look at what your needs are and just look for yourself. There's a lot of things out there that you can put in a first aid kit. But the main things you want to remember is you're just trying to save life. So it's, checking for a pulse and, do the first aid courses, because we shouldn't really do that over the this kind of broadcast, right?
We're not certified to be able to do that, but we can send them off to a certified class. Absolutely. Well, I know for essentials, the adhesive tapes, bandages of all sizes, elastics, the splints, like you said. We've got to remember antiseptic wipes, soaps for cleaning, antibiotic ointments, antiseptic solutions like your hydrogen peroxides, hydrocortisone creams, your 1%, acetaminophen and your iBuse. Make sure no one's allergic to either one, and please do not mix the two. And if you're needing one for more of a headache and the iBue for anti-inflammatory, then you can dose one, 4 hours later, dose a different one, but never together. And tweezers, you got to have tweezers in case of splinters, bee stings, sharp scissors, safety pins are important. You never know what those can be handy for. Disposable instant cold packs, you know, those snap ones where you can slap them together and they get instantly cold. Also, you got heating ones that you can get exactly like that. I would recommend putting those in your kits. Alcohol wipes so that you can clean off an area before and get it nice and sterile. Thermometers are important. You can get the ones that sit right on the forehead for a strip, anal ones for anyone under 2. A tooth preservation kit's pretty important. You can pick those up at any of your local Walmarts or possibly dollar stores. And make sure you guys have some extra latex gloves in a baggie, extra baggie, at least 2 pairs or more. Keep everything sanitized. And don't forget your flashlights, extra batteries, your blankets. And if you're going to be doing your... Go ahead, Sarge.
Oh, I thought I'd lost you. No, I was going to say one thing also, those little bottles of saline solution, I know it's extra weight and it seems like, yeah, you're never going to use it. But when you have an open wound, you really need to clean it out. And if you don't have saline, it's kind of hard to do good.
Yeah, and then you would need like a kind of a pressure washer. So if you can get a medicine dropper, not the soft ones, but the squirters that are for kids that just inject the medicine right into the mouth. That way you can have some pressure. You can even purchase one of the like tooth cleaners that could squirt water really hard and inject saline into a wound.
But again, you got to remember, all of these things take space. So many people before yourself, myself included, have thought out how to pack a really good kit. Just do some research, and it's really easy to find. They've got a lot of really neat, ingenious things that are not heavy but do the job.
Yes, and you know, Rack Rail had a really great idea. Put everything. Pardon. We'll back up. SparkQ had a great idea to put everything in the separate Ziploc bags. That way it stays waterproof.
And buoyant.
And dry. Hippocampus, can I offer a suggestion as well?
Yes, of course.
One of the things that families may want to consider is have a family medical kit and someone designated to carry that. And that's going to be kind of all the things in your medicine cabinet or maybe in your med kit there at the house. Everything that you guys have been talking about here. One of the things that after a number of years of experience myself that I'd suggest that everybody should be carrying is some type of individual first aid kit, which is more of a trauma kit, and it's more focused toward breathing, bleeding, keeping people circulating blood, and keeping them alive. And in addition to that, then I've also listed here a resource for a tactical medical kit, which is again more dealing with the severe injuries and wounds.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I'm also going to bring in some great things that Staka brought over, and unfortunately she's unable to join us this evening, but I do want to give her the credit for this fantastic homemade fire cider coming your way. There we go. I'll also be bringing one of her recipes for a natural antibiotic, which I would highly recommend in anybody's first aid kit. A fantastic suggestion, sir, that you brought forth. Have the individual kits for everybody, specified medicine for their age. Have it as individuals in their go bags, and then, yes, the family one, the bigger one. Again, last podcast had dropped information on. I like the tackle boxes to carry all of the first aid things because I've got a handle, I've got all these extra compartments to stick things in, and it handles everything really nice.
With that, I may also suggest that a number of the military medical kits that have been slightly used are out on the market, and they're excellent deals, and many of them are very large. Now, they're not hard side as you're suggesting, but they are soft side, which some people may prefer.
Well, if you have a couple pictures you'd like to bring, that'd be fine. Thank you. USN, would you care to talk to us about bear sprays and snake bite kits? Do you have any information on that?
I'm not sure about snake bite kits myself, but I do know if you do have poisonous things that are around you, you should always make sure that whoever's packing a medical kit makes sure that they have something for you in there in case. Um, but I mean, if you're up in Alaska, I don't know if there's scorpions, but you probably have other things you can use that space for. So pack smartly, pack appropriately for your environment and your location.
Absolutely, and the location you might be going to. So yes, appropriate regional specified. Thanks, Sarge. Thank you all for the pause. I appreciate that. We are working on some comm issues on some internet, so pardon the control issues.
Can I get a comp check, please?
There you are.
Okay, Hippo, a couple of minutes ago, I heard you mention something about a tackle box for your first aid kit. What I had done at, I believe it was Home Depot or Menards, one of the home centers, home improvement centers, they have the lighter toolboxes now. They're very, very sturdy. They're waterproof. You can lock them. You can put a padlock on them. But they do have the gaskets on the top and the bottom, and so it seals up pretty good. You can get quite a bit of medical supplies inside of one of those boxes. It is a hard case. It's light plastic, very durable. Would probably float if it were dropped in water. And yeah, so that's the kit that I put together. It's pretty extensive, but that's something for folks to consider. You can pick one of those boxes up for maybe $25 or $30. So yeah.
Thank you for that. And so docs next week will be talking more extensively in regards to go bag types, and I've got some really great information on how to stuff it. But now we're going to turn it over to Sarge, and we're going to talk about the medical part of legal marijuana. Sarge, take us away.
Okay, First, major disclaimer. I'm only talking about how to grow a plant. If you're in a state that this is not legal, don't don't listen to my advice. If you can grow it legally or just would like to know the mechanics of growing it, that's pretty readily available on the internet. So I guess, Hippo, what do you want me to talk about specifically? Because I mean, this is a whole industry and there's a whole bunch of levels. So did you want me to talk about CBDs and the types of cannabinoids, or the actual growth cycles?
I can put up a little ditty about I love growing marijuana, and I would just love for you to touch on your best subject specialties in regards to the medicinal values for adding to our first aid kits. Some people that have the legal cards and they need to add to their bug out.
Okay, medicinally, honestly, I think if we're going to add it to a bug out bag, the only thing that I would legally suggest is maybe get some CBD gummies or something like that for some slight pain relief that you would use basically much like an ibuprofen.
Now,
Or other CBD oil tinctures or things like that. The CBD oil, at least as far as I've seen the science on it, seems to alleviate a little bit of pain and inflammation.
well, I'm in a state where it's very legal. And what's nice is I get to try a couple little different things being in the health field. And I have been able to work with cancer patients medicinally, taking CBD oils for vape. Do not inhale the smoking portion. They use the bags for the inhaling, or they have those special burners. And I've cared for doctors that smoke the CBD or the vape because they know it's helping them get an appetite. It's helping with their cells because the cancer, if they have it, the chemos kill more than they help.
Oh, sure. You're irradiating your body. It's gonna hurt you. Um, Again, it's really touchy because of the legal place that the cannabis is. But for CBDs, it sure seems, at least anecdotally, that people get much relief and whatever from it. And since it's legal, and if you have access to it, it it's natural and it does help.
Well, what I say is all of God's good green things on earth.
But they do have a lot of other things. Now, again, this isn't really go bag related because I'm not gonna waste, a couple cubic square inches of space to put some CBD oil myself. I'm gonna have much better quality stuff than that. But I'm just kidding. Um, but the medicinally, marijuana, for the CBDs would be a good thing to have. They do have stuff like Rick Simpson oil. If you have access to that, that is really good. And, well, I don't know. I don't have many problems with it in any situation. So,
Would you call it charge?
Was that
what did
Rick
I call?
Simpson
What?
oil?
Oh, yeah, it's called Rick Simpson oil. Um, Basically, I think what they do is they boil it in alcohol and then distill it. I'm not sure the exact process, and the guy named Rick Simpson did it, made it, figured it out, but it really seems to help people. It My wife had some, and normally she wakes up 3 or 4 times a night, and she slept right through. It seems to be really strong and helps you get sleep.
And I love the medical side in regards to the fact that they are doing so much research, finding out for specified types of pain, where, and anti-anxiety.
Well, sure, and I believe it's the Delta 5 in the THC ranges. The Delta 5 actually seems to have weight loss, helps you lose weight.
Okay, that's the one I want.
Yeah, no munchies on that one, huh?
Hey, Sarge Hippocampus, would you guys mind if I cut in for just a second, please?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, today is Monday, August 27th, 2018. It is 7:20 p.m. Pacific time, 10:20 on the East Coast. This is the Warriors Without Warning Hippocampus 88 Discord server. Legal disclaimer for U.S. federal and state laws. Number one, this is not a revolution. Two, this is not a call to arms. This channel, HC88 and its members, is not anti-government. We are pro-America and pro-American. We stand by the Constitution of the United States of America. We claim our rights as sovereign individuals to help reshape our great nation and to make America great again. We exist as a training tool and a guide to help fellow Americans and others listening worldwide to be prepared in the time of an emergency. Warriors Without Warning, W3 Group, HC88 server, and any individual member accept no responsibility whatsoever for any loss of time or property, nor any injury or worse resulting from the advice given by our membership and guest speakers. The opinions of our guest speakers of Warriors Without Warning and HC88 server do not necessarily reflect the views of this channel. Thank you all.
You you could have just told me to hush.
Oh, we just had to get that in, though, right?
Yes, right.
Thank
Specifically
you.
there, while we're talking about the medicinal properties of cannabis, which it's absolutely right. Like I said at the beginning, it's all anecdotal, but they are running tests, and they look good so far.
I went ahead and put that drop from that site. From what I understand, you know a little bit about the growth process. Do you have a green thumb yourself?
I do. I actually work at a large cannabis farm. That's my job.
Does that go out to the dispensaries?
No, it goes to the dispensaries. Sorry.
Okay, pardon my accent. I was understanding that some of the crops get pressed down for the oils, and that can be a really amazing process chemically. Are you into that?
No, actually, I am a production guy. I have a tier, well, not I, but I'm at a tier 2 farm, which is the largest grow size in Oregon. And we send our product to processors, and they process it into the oil. And there's a few different ways that they process it into the oils. Most common is the process of using butane or CO2 to turn it into an oil, or different types of less viscous oils.
Yeah, and they've come out with some wonderful edibles. You had mentioned earlier the gummies. Are those shippable intra-state? Are you aware?
I would, okay. The way you're asking it, I would say probably not. Unless you are in a state that does have delivery services, which some do. You can call the dispensary and they will deliver to you if certain situations or whatever. But normally, I don't think they would mail those.
Home delivery? Nice.
It's a thing.
Wow, kind of unthinkable and unfathomable for some. But yeah, it's becoming a more prevalent medical desire for more to try because it's come out of the closet so much. There's less fear and, what is that, stigma. So I think that if people would just step out of their box a little bit, they'd reach into a green health Pandora's opening that would create unending benefits for health. Do you have certain flavors, may I ask, that are specified for certain types of things?
Can I post a picture? It's not anything terrible. It is cannabis related.
Yes, please do. Week 4, first day.
These are some of my drying racks.
Is anybody familiar with Charlotte's Web and the CNN show that Gupta?
Yes, that's the Charlotte's Web. It's a high CBD, and that's sort of one of the catalysts that help get cannabis in the news more about the benefits from the results of the little girl and her experience with the CBD.
Yeah, she was suffering from major amount of seizures per day. I think over 30 or more. It was very excessive. No child at 5 should have to do that. No anybody. And it knocked it down to 4. And eventually, after a year of steady treatment, she was, what is that, shake free.
Yeah, there's a video on YouTube of a man with Parkinson's disease who uses CBD oil for the first time, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and you can tell he's not faking it. He really does have Parkinson's, and it's really bad. And he just in like 20 minutes just altogether stops, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm not in pain. It hurts shaking so much."
I know that there are certain strains that are specified. I've tried Blue Dream, which I enjoy for pain. I have a chronic back lower condition that sitting too much hurts. So I'm legally allowed to do that through a card and get a discount and purchase so much a day if I chose. And they've got ways to package it to make it scent free.
Well, my wife was working as a bud tender for a while, and my stepson, he still does. But she would always tell me stories about older gentlemen or older ladies coming in and, really just teared up. They're like, the doctor took me off of my opiates and I'm just in so much pain, and people keep telling me this can help me, but I've never done this, and kind of embarrassed, and it's heart-wrenching. But she has had, and again, it's anecdotal, but she has had people come back and just say thank you. She's told me she's got whole little church groups of ladies, the whatever group it was, all on CBD oils, and everybody's happy because they're feeling good.
Yeah, if people were to stay home and use a little marijuana, they'd have a little bit less stress out there, huh?
Yeah, that would be nice.
I guess I'll
Well,
have to bring some for 11/11.
the world is gonna need something to calm itself down with, and maybe a good mellow is a good thing.
Well, and plus too, it's a great bartering item.
Yeah, I would be in the dark about what to trade for what. So,
Well, I'll tell you, there's a few things that are recession proof, and that's lipstick and alcohol. And it very well could be marijuana too.
yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't go anywhere without the lipstick.
there's a whole nother aspect of the cannabis, that's all psychological, the whole escapism and stuff like that. But people do that with everything, football to alcohol. So, but that's just a whole nother podcast on psychology.
So, Sarge, what is in the state that you're in? What is is it difficult for a patient, or is that wide open, lawful for any resident to obtain medical cannabis?
I live in Oregon. Oregon is a legal rec. Anybody over the age of 21 can go to a dispensary and purchase, I think, up to an ounce a day if they were so wanting to. But that being said, they figured that people were going to try to cheat the system and hoard stuff, and they've kept track, and people are getting in trouble. So, they let the people kind of bust themselves. But anybody can get it if they want it. You can go in and you can buy the sativas or the hybrids or the indicas or the CBDs or the gummies or the chocolates or the sodas or whatever else they mixed it with now. But if you are a medical patient and you have a medical license, you can go to those dispensaries and get some of the products that are slightly higher in potency, and you're allowed slightly more per day purchase, as well as you don't pay the state tax. So you get I think it's a 20% discount right off the bat for being a medical patient.
Oh, wow.
And if you're a veteran, it's only $20 a month, or $20 a year for the card, and it's $200 if you're just a regular medical patient per year. So depending on how much you smoke, it may or may not be worth the taxes or not.
Yeah, I copy that. So, Sarge, let me get an opinion from you. You know, you mentioned hearing about somebody that had been under a doctor's care and then was suddenly cut off from the opiate pain medication. Um, have how many have you heard? Quite a number of opinions out there that um, the cannabis or the medical type cannabis. I'm not really well educated on the various types, but would you say that that is something comparable or even better than, say, opiate pain medication like Vicodin?
Only if it's good stuff.
Well, I'm not gonna make that comment, but I will say this. I think marijuana is going to be proven to be a gateway drug. Just the gateway goes the different direction. It comes from opiates to marijuana because it gives them their escapism. So I think it's going to help because it does numb you enough, or you know, make you sleepy enough, or make you busy enough, depending on what you smoke and how much of it you smoke, that it will replace the other addiction if given the chance. I think if you just want to do heroin, then you're probably just going to do that, and nobody's going to change your mind. But I think for the people who would like to get off of it, I think cannabis is going to become the gateway drug that just kind of swings both ways.
Yeah, of course they're gonna say that. That's like that old movie, Reefer Madness. You know, they made it into such a bad thing for people to get a little high.
You don't need a gateway. There's a lot of gateways. Alcohol is the biggest gateway. If that's your gate, you're gonna go there. You gotta just be have other options that are healthier. I mean, marijuana is a healthier option compared to oxycontin and opioids. That's addictive. Marijuana is not addictive, so I think it's a good option.
Yo, New Yorker, how's it going, man? Absolutely. Healthy options are great, right?
Yeah, it's all about being healthy. I mean, there's a lot. See, the problem is that there's other things that the cannabis gives. Like paper and stuff like that. Hemp is a very good byproduct. I think it's like a good herb. It's if it's done right. You know what I mean? If it's treated right, the autism thing is real. Kids are being treated for autism, and that's like a beautiful thing.
It really is. I don't think gateway, schmateway. I'm serious. It's such a needed requirement to get the drugs, the pharmaceuticals out of the picture. It was put here for a reason. There's
Well, it has over 200 different molecules, and there's a whole lot of science that needs to get done. But I think that we will find it has the potential to produce whatever it is we want it to produce, that we need it to.
Well, yeah, and didn't Boner just get Bonner? Boner, pardon
You
me.
said boner.
He is a big boner to me, but anyhow, that's my nickname for him. So excuse my faux pas. He got assigned to the federal top dog of the medical federal part for the medical marijuana, and I'm just hoping that a lot of funding will open up some research so that we can get pinpointed on this.
I hope so, because there's a whole bunch of really good, honest people trying to turn this industry into something that the feds would be proud of. But they need to step it up because we're drowning out here.
I think the alcohol people are not stupid. They know they're going to lose a lot of business once people can get cannabis legally. So what's going to happen is they're buying the stocks of the good right now. They're buying companies because they want to be involved. I mean, because they realize they're going to lose a share of the alcohol, which is good because it's going to go to the cannabis and which is more healthier. And I think it's a better thing to do if you want to do that. If you want to. Escape reality or whatever you want to do. It's a healthier way to do that. in that format versus like opiates or heroin is extremely dangerous now because you got that new stuff in it, and like it kills you the first time you use it, ephedrine, right, or whatever it's called.
Well, I think the cannabis industry has a lot of potential in a lot of things, and that's why it's such a danger. But there's there's way more good that can come of it, um, and the other drugs are just poison, and they were meant to be poison.
Speaking of which, I will be having a gal come on. Her name is Nicolio, and she's going to be speaking next podcast or two in regards to kratom and the information that I've been given about it, and I've had testers, and I kind of liked it. And I used it for pain. There's special types. There's high, medium, low. And wow, is this going to be really a great trade for the opiate fellas? Something to look forward to. And USN's going to be dropping some nice go bag preferred designs while Sarge closes up his section.
Yo, USN, where's the designs? Man, you got any previews?
No designs, just some suggestions for keeping it light.
Oh, come on, man. We gotta get it. We gotta go like where we go one, we go all. We gotta initialize it. We gotta do something with it.
Ooh, that one's really nice.
So, where's Freebie Lee's in the house? Wow, everybody's here, huh?
We have a really great crew tonight. Thank you all for joining us. Sarge, do you want to close up your section for us? I so appreciate your great information.
He took time out. He had to take a few hits before he carried on.
Maybe you had to head over to Hippocampus's spanking room. You never know. Oh, I did change that name folder. Yeah.
You got the best names about campus. Keeps changing.
Thanks.
You keeps changing your avatar. Like I don't know. My fantasy keeps changing. I'm like, it's weird.
You remember my very first one being the chemtrail grids you could tic-tac-toe on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Nevada skies. Thank you very much. Well,
Yeah,
Sarge,
but
it's been great. Thank you so much for sharing with us your expertise on some medical marijuana. Go ahead, New Yorker. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, you didn't cut me off. I'm always. You're welcome to cut me off. Sarge is the man. He knows all about it, and yeah, he's really in depth knowledge on it, and I didn't mean I know I have personal experience with it. I mean I people around me growing up were dying of heroin, and I just smoked and I never got into the heroin, and it worked for me. So I can understand what Sarge is pointing that out. Like you don't need to be it's like what are you looking at if you want to get high? What are you looking for? Like these people, like I grew up with kids that would just sometimes like do tubanols, that these sedatives, right? And they do it on Friday, right? And then on Monday you see their faces, it's got all these bruises because they freaking would fall on the concrete, hit their faces. And I'm like, is this what you want to do every weekend? I mean, like, I never understood people that did drugs that put them to a state where, like, they were so out of control. I mean, that's not fun. You know what I mean? That's like really sick. So if we could prevent that, I think it's a good thing, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, New Yorker, exactly. You know, I've always been against that. You know, narcotic, opiates, heroin, cocaine, and stuff like that, and especially like you said with what they're putting in there now, lacing it with fentanyl and other synthetic drugs, and you know, it's killing too many people. But for all intents and purposes of the podcast, you know, we were going to stay along the lines of the benefits of cannabis for a section of time with Sarge, medical marijuana and other types of cannabis, which could, you know, potentially transition folks who are suffering from chronic pain. They could theoretically, practically transition over away from OxyContin, away from Vicodin and other opiate painkillers to a medical marijuana, you know, get a card, get the prescription or whatever it is that you need to do, depending on what state you live in, and then have that packed away in your 3-day go bag. Have something like that in your medical kit. You know, if you do suffer from some sort of chronic pain or what have you, if you have seniors living with you, elders in the house, and they're suffering from that type of chronic pain, and you need to move your family out of harm's way quickly. So, yeah, that's you know, I wanted to kind of touch on the subject of the go bags a little bit, Hippo, if we can. I think we've got about 15 minutes yet.
Yeah, absolutely, USN. We do need to get into that. It's going to take a couple shows to be in depth about a go bag. I do have some specified speakers that will be joining us next week for that. So I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you, USN. And I do want to remind everybody that the second week of the shopping list for the Pantry Primer is listed down below at the Pantry Primer folder. And I just wanted to touch really quick on, you know, the importance of the food supply after USN is done.
All right, thanks, Hippo. Okay, I'm just going to keep this really short, really sweet. Ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. One more time, ounces equal pounds, pounds equal pain. You need to have your go bags. You need to have them as soon as possible. We don't believe that something is going to happen. We don't have any information along those lines, but anything could happen at any moment. We all know that. Um, do your research. Let's not wait. Start looking at different go bags. Form a family plan. Sit down with your family at the table. Get a notepad and a pen and paper. Notepad and some paper and a filler paper, maybe a 3-ring binder that you can take your notes and put them right into the binder and keep it organized along with your family plan. And then sit down and go right around the table and make sure that each person has exactly what they're going to need for 72-hour travel time, maximum 72 hours. Obviously, food and water, medications, those sorts of things, alternative lighting, but you want to keep it light. And the reason you want to keep it light is in case you have to uh, leave your vehicle. Let's say you run out of gasoline, none of the gas stations are operating, and you have to take your family on foot and off road. Those pounds are going to equal pain, so that's something that you really want to consider. But would be best that you start working on your emergency plans and start working on your go bags. We can possibly get into this next week where we can start talking with the folks and maybe do this together with them. Give them the best advice we can on how to put these bags together. Thank you.
Hey, I'd like to add that the strollers for kids, great option. Strollers for bikes. If you don't have to carry it, the better for you. And, you know, remember, if you're in the city and you need to get out of the city, that's a pretty good distance. So having a bike with a little trailer or a kid-friendly, you know, stroller that you can put some extra water on and push it instead of carry it on your back, it's a smart move.
Really great idea. It's got the wheels, super. Better than a wagon, huh?
And some of them are built for rough terrain.
April, did you want to add?
Uh, any suggestions for an older, out of shape person?
Well, depending on their situation, first I would say, how far do you think you would have to walk if you had to walk to somebody else's house that you knew would be there if you got there?
Well, that I could do. That's just a couple miles. But I mean, if you're talking to book it in the mountains and the boonies, I'm going to be SOL.
Well, that's probably the truth. To be honest, a lot of people aren't going to be able to get down and out of the city because traffic will get jammed, nothing will move, the streets will get congested. Diabetes meds don't stay cold very long. We talked about that before too. You know, there's a lot of things that could go poorly. Do you have a good pair of shoes to even walk in, or are you going to, you know, twist an ankle real easy? I would suggest to somebody who's out of shape, start seeing what you're made of. I bet you're stronger than you thought and you can walk farther than you can. You know, go out and do as much as you can in preparation, because if it comes down to the point you have to, well, then it's on you.
Hey, Sarge, would you agree that it would behoove everyone to have their go bags immediately right there, right there by the front door? Because the quicker they can, especially if most folks are living in major population centers, large cities, the quicker you can get out of your house and onto the road, the better chance you're going to have to. Even minutes are going to count if you can get out of your house in 5 minutes versus while everybody else is scurrying around looking for items. You're going to have a better chance of beating a lot of that traffic because those interstates are going to become like gridlock. But so would you agree that having that having that plan and having those bags and ready to go is a major benefit for folks if they want to try to depart a major city quickly?
The only real scenario that I can think of where everybody on the same whistle ran out of the city would be an incoming nuclear missile, and they knew it was coming and you had to go and everybody said go. And if that was the case, I wouldn't even worry about the bag. I would just move. But leaving your go bag in your trunk is a smart idea. That's where I keep my medical kit, because most likely I'm going to be either outside by the car or along the road somewhere if I need it. So that's the smartest place for me to keep it. But having your go bag by the door is smart. If you live in an apartment with many stories and you have a little storage locker somewhere, probably smart to keep something down there so you don't have to tote things up and down staircases if the power goes out and you need to move. You know, it's your own individual situation that's going to demand certain actions.
And I like always carrying a candle too. If you get stuck in the snow in your car, at least you'll have some instant heat and they can find you too.
Well, I found a small little like air horn, you know, the type that have the little red nose that goes honk honk, like they use at football games. That's great. Great signal, real loud, directional. And also you can use it if a mugger's trying to bug you or somebody's trying to take your stuff. Honk the horn right in their face. They will put their hands by their ears and you just kick them square in the pajamas and keep walking.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. We will be having some up and coming self-defense classes.
You mind if I interject real quick?
Please do.
Being a single guy and without having a lot of people I have to worry about, every one of my cars, I sadly have three, but all three of my vehicles have a knapsack, if you will, with first aid kit and some essentials, flashlight, and so forth. I recycle them through, so wherever I'm at, I have an emergency kit. It's either emergency roadside or it's also can be used as a small type of bug out kit as well. So there is like MRE and a couple things in there as well, bottle of water, whatnot. So I have that in my car ready to go, and I cycle them through.
There's a couple of really great places where you can get bulk food items for on the cheap. I don't want to advertise a specified one, but you guys can look for yourselves and compare prices. Flavor is going to be important, honestly. Does anybody out there have favorites?
Don't necessarily have a favorite, but what I do I go to the surplus stores and find the the cheapest, lightest weight, and the easiest to make type of stuff, whether it just be a small amount of water or whatever.
Hey, don't be giving out my surplus store secret. They'll empty the shelves.
Sadly, it's a great resource because for one, 90% of the stuff that you get there are lightweight and they're easy to pack a few things in there. You may not get a lot of stuff, but it's stuff that you can easily carry in a small knapsack.
Absolutely. Absolutely a great place. I was kidding.
And what people find funny is in my first aid kit, I have a scalpel. I had a girlfriend who was a nurse, and she was able to get me certain medical supplies. So I have sterile stuff such as that. I've got needle and thread, small roll of duct tape. So instead of getting a full roll of duct tape, you actually roll up a bit of it, not having the whole roll. So it comes out to just be a small little thing, but that little bit of duct tape will do a lot.
Did you guys ever see that one show where they made the boat out of duct tape and it didn't sink? Nobody's seen it? Oh my gosh, it was
Missed
so
it.
hilarious. How could New Yorker miss it? All right. Well, I so appreciate everybody joining in and putting in their specialties and input tonight. It's been a fabulous evening to have you all with us. And wouldn't you agree? I just have one major question here.
What?
Would
You
you know
only have
how to
one after
react?
all the. We got like 10 minutes to go. I mean, what do we got? 8, 7, 6, 5, 5 minutes to go. You got at least
I'm
two
looking
questions.
at one, man. Oh, no.
So you got like a fast question. Yo, Freebie, you got anything?
Nope, I've got a lot from you guys tonight.
Well,
You
I just want to appreciate Staka bringing out her drops for her fungal remedies and her saving trips or saving tips, excuse me, for shopping trips. And would everyone agree here that this level and amount of preparedness and practice can definitely reduce some stress and some tension along the way and ease a lot of frustrations that may arise in a what if emergency?
Well, I just wanted to remind everybody, don't forget to get out and vote in your midterm primaries. in Arizona, Florida, and if there are any runoffs in Oklahoma tomorrow.
Yeah, Freedom, you're right, man. With midterm, we got to nail this. There's an opportunity we can't let go by the wayside. You're damn right.
Totally. I'll drop that for you right now, Freedom. Thank you for that lovely reminder.
What's that motto? Hippocampus, be prepared, be prepared. Don't wait until it's too late. Prepare ahead of time. That would definitely reduce stress. And things may go wrong, things will go wrong. If you are not prepared and you are not trained, if you do not have a plan, things definitely will go wrong. So, yeah. And the leader of each family, the children and the elders, people who are sick, people who are disabled, are going to be looking to you. So, form the plan sooner than later, and put the packs together, and always be ready. That's all. Everybody have a great night. USN is out.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you, buddy.
Thank you, USN. I just have a quick little savings tip I want to add for everybody to save aside all their gravy and sauce jars that they get from store sauces. And I'm going to share in future podcasts how to make homemade candles. I just want to close out the evening again with a thank you to L9 Productions due to the upcoming holiday. We will be off this next coming Monday. But please keep us in mind for Saturday Q&A. If you have anything that wasn't discussed on today's topic for the questions, please get back to us on Saturday. Everybody have a lovely evening, and God bless you.